Coming up next, Dave Hodges, the general manager of the national team. Brought to you by Friends of the British Council. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up here at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 in New York City. And I have the pleasure of Mr. Steve Lewis being to my right, the Scotsman, and Mr. Martin Pengelly back in his usual seat, the Englishman to my left. Gentlemen, welcome.
Good afternoon.
I think he's faking with us. Martin, does your mic really not work?
Seems to work to me.
Okay, there you go. All right. Okay, he's quiet as a church mouse at 6'10". Speaking of 6'10", we have a large man, Mr. Dave Hodges, the general manager of the men's program for the Eagles, the national team, on the horn from College Station. David, we know you're pressed for time. You got a big weekend of rugby ahead of you under your belt. David, there are challenging times off the pitch for USA Rugby. You got upheaval. You've got organizational turnover. Yet somehow the national teams seem to be doing okay on the pitch. What's going on with you?
I think the main thing is that it's been the DNA of this team for a long time to not be victims to circumstance. So it's credit to the coaches and the players that through some of the challenges, they've focused on their task and have by and large kept on getting better. From the senior team, and we'll see how the U20s do. But I'm really excited about this U20 group playing here at College Station tonight.
Is there one branch or one of the setups that has been affected the most by the upheaval off the pitch?
Yeah, I don't know. I think everyone's been affected, and I don't know if you can value who's been affected the most. It certainly is challenging, but I think there's also, where there's chaos, there's opportunity, and we have the opportunity to put some structures in place to really get this right. And the corollary is the team's performance. If they keep doing well, they put pressure on the admin to do better and to provide better resources for our men's and women's teams.
Steve, you got a question for Dave?
Yeah, so let's talk performance. So last week opened up the summer test series with a thumping win against Russia, 62-13, so congrats on that. How would you characterize that performance? Do you feel that Eagles are getting in their groove? Do you feel Russia were a little under what you expected, or maybe a bit of both? How do you look at last week's performance?
I think it was a good start. I wouldn't try to characterize Russia, but I would say that it was a good start. It wasn't a perfect start, but it was a good benchmark to start the June series with. And that I think outside of the middle half of the second half, the team played pretty well. Now that's placed against playing against the number 6 team in the world in Scotland, who we got away with some things against Russia where we won't get away with those. And the coaching staff and the players are working as we speak right now back in Houston to put those things right.
Yeah, so moving towards this week's game, obviously changing quality of opposition, right? We go from Russia to 6th ranked, I think, 5th or 6th ranked Scotland. Missing some guys from their top group, but still full of firepower. Coached by Townsend, guys like Stuart Hogg probably going to play. What do you see as opportunities for the Eagles? Do you see any Scottish weaknesses, or do you see any areas where you think the Eagles can compete and get some joy?
If I tell you, I have to kill you.
Just generally. I mean, did they play fast?
He's fishing for strategy here, and he's also riding both sides of the fence of making excuses and not making excuses.
Everyone knows Scotland play up tempo, so. Are you comfortable playing at that pace? Would you try and slow the game down? Do you have any thoughts about how to approach this game?
I don't think we'd try to. We recognize that that's a strategy that they employ and that we can strategize against. So, yes, they do try to play a lot. It's certainly going to be challenging conditions in Houston, even though we kick off at 8 o'clock at night. I think the Eagles are embracing those and really enjoying, and kind of the mindset of enjoying the training and the heat.
Yep, and so that's the big game of the weekend, which is 8 o'clock on Saturday night. But But also, same day, you've got this two-leg contest with Canada for the U20. So you're playing tonight, College Station, and you're playing Saturday afternoon, 3:30, Rice Stadium. So obviously, the U20s, this is an important part of the pathway, the system for the Eagles. What are your thoughts and feelings about the team that Coach Scott Brackett has put together there?
That they definitely employ no excuses mentality. It's been some challenging circumstances for them, and they just gotten on with training and playing. And I'm really proud of that group and the staff and the players, and looking forward to how they play tonight. I think, as you know, one of the things you talked about was some of the challenges off the field. I think we definitely have to do better by our age grade teams in terms of supporting them with the proper budget, and also with support around their events when they do play.
Marty, you got a question for him?
I wanted to ask you, how is the link up with Major League Rugby going in terms of the players who've come from that competition where they've been playing full time to play with the Eagles? 2 years ago, when Pro was running, John Mitchell had a remark to me about concerns with some of the fitness from people who were playing Pro for the first time. So I was wondering how the link up with Major League Rugby is going and how the players have adapted to the international game.
Right, that is a really good question. I think the short part of it is that the interaction with Major League Rugby has been, I mean, there's always been there always will be some disagreements here and there, because they have a strategy, we have a strategy. But by and large, it's been a very amicable relationship. I think we both realize that there's a relationship that can make us both better if we do it properly. So in terms of the players, we've done our best to over-communicate on the players we are looking at, and then when we're released and when we want them, and if there's an emergency situation with an injury. So I think that we've done our best to do that. We can always do better, but I think they've appreciated that. And then, you know, I think as we look after the season, we can both put our heads together and talk about different ways to improve further. One of the, you know, certainly in terms of one of the things this team can get better at quickly is our fitness levels. And, you know, we want to help the MLR teams improve there as well, because it'll make it more exciting competition with guys that have stamina and can play full tilt later into the game. And it'll also help them translate into the international game.
You know, Dave, these days we've turned the corner in terms of opportunities and pathway for these players now. There's a bunch of different competitions going on. You've got the ARCs, you've got the MLR, you've got test matches. So players are actually getting some more playing time, some much needed playing time at higher levels. That's only going to help you guys in the long run. But how quickly do you think that you guys will be able to just concentrate on the on-pitch stuff? And how quickly do you think the off-the-field pitch stuff will be ironed out?
As we started in the beginning of the show, I think the staff and players have concentrated on on things on the performance side on the field, but the organizational things, they are something that's kind of background noise and going on. It is important, but I think the focus from our side has been pretty good through all that. My understanding is that we should have some synergy in terms of knowing who the next board is come August, September, and all the pieces in place, like the CEO and
board,
other positions by January.
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways of looking at this. I think that, you know, the coaches are professional, right? Gary Gold and his team. The players are now professional. They're focused on playing, and they always will be. So the short-term effect is there's no, I don't think, any deleterious effect on the Eagles' performance.
Oh.
I think from the point of view of planning and going forward, obviously Gary Gold and Dave and people want to know, you know, 6 months, 12 months, budgets, opportunities. So I think they're looking for some sort of a longer-term, medium to long-term stability and security. But these guys are putting on that red, white, and blue shirt.
Yeah.
They'll be playing their hearts out. I don't think we got anything to worry about in terms of coaches and players' ability to produce.
as long as they have kits that fit them and have the right numbers on them and they're not backwards. We've had those experiences in the past. We got to cut you loose. We know. So I got one more question for you. Any truth to the rumors that you're already planning the logistics around the Blaine Scully Cup between the Cardiff Blues and Team USA, as per CEO Holland and interim CEO Ross Young of Cardiff and the USA, respectively?
We certainly, if we can get high quality games in that, and maybe for some of our younger players as well, to get that type of level, a mixed team would be great. We're always open to that. I not always subscribe to more is better, but quality in the right times is better.
All right, my friend. Thank you for taking the time. We know that you're very busy this weekend.
Hey, guys, I appreciate listening to you guys, and I know you guys are all passionate about rugby in America, and we appreciate all that you do in terms of trying to get the word out and promote the game.
Right back at you. That's Mr. Dave Hodges, the general manager of Team USA's men's program. On behalf of Mr. Hodges, Mr. Steve Lewis, and Mr. Martin Pengelly, I'm Matt McCarthy at the Fantasy Sports Network Studio 34 in New York City, signing off.